Hi, my name is Shazib Khan and you are watching Pakistan Politics. Currently, a very special celestial event is happening, the Great Conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn. People all across the world are marveling at it, and I'm sure many in Pakistan are doing the same. But if I was to ask my viewers in Pakistan, how many of you are going out and looking at the Great Conjunction in the evening sky, I think that the number would be very low compared to many other countries, particularly advanced developed countries. Interest in space and in science in general is abysmally low in Pakistan. Lack of curiosity stunts scientific inquiry, particularly lack of curiosity about space. That is because space is the final frontier. It is where science is fully emancipated. Therefore, this situation is very bad for us. We import all sorts of Western innovations eagerly, but only those connected with warfare or which allow some of us to live in luxury. Western achievements in space science and space technology we largely ignore. This is to our detriment because we cannot ignore the reality of the world, which is getting richer with knowledge and which is making great inroads into space. We cannot be left behind. That is why I have initiated a movement to get the youth of Pakistan more interested in space research. I observe a lot of people in Pakistan get enthusiastic about all sorts of causes, and politicians have plenty of money to pursue those causes. I call upon politicians to open up their coffers for space research and to mention this field in their speeches so that they can get their followers motivated to open up their minds towards space. It will help Pakistan get ahead in many ways. We can no longer think of ourselves as just a former European colony. We have been independent for nearly a century now. We have to get ahead, we have to make our way in the world. And in order to do that, it is essential that we make our way in space. Otherwise, other nations which are ahead of us in space will leave us behind on Earth as well. That includes India, which has many space facilities and astronomers. They are making great progress. It is vital that we do the same. There is great benefit to be gained from exploring space. When you study the entire universe, you get to know a lot about how things work, and in particular, you get to know a lot about how Earth works, what is going on down here on Earth. Because then you look at the planet as a whole when you look at it from afar. Think, for example, about the pressing issue of climate change, one of the biggest problems of our times. It is a planetary process, and in order to know all about it, we have to study the planet from afar. Doing so has allowed us to know all about the ozone layer and the hole that formed the ozone layer and how it formed, and that spurred us to take the action to stop the hole from forming and to save us all from the effects of the ozone hole. And that is just one of the many countless benefits of to be gained from space. That includes all the uses of satellites. There is unfortunately a dearth of interest in space all across the Islamic world, which is a shame because the Islamic world has one of the richest of all heritage in science. Back in our heyday, Muslims made huge advancements in science and math and technology and engineering. And our own religion, Islam, played a huge role in this. Islam is a religion that encourages science a great deal. Our Prophet, peace be upon him, was the one chosen to travel into space on the night of Shab-e-Miraj. We should follow his example. We should take inspiration from this to explore space to the level that we can. And Pakistan has great potential to be the leader of the Islamic world. In order to fulfill this potential, it needs to make progress in science. It needs to get engaged in science and technology more. And that will depend upon our engagement with space. When we become a nation that is spacefaring, that is making great inroads into space, we can lead the rest of the world's Muslims into doing the same and into improving our lot here on earth. We can be the avant-garde of change across the Islamic world. We can lift out the Islamic world out of the darkness it is in right now and set it on a path towards a brighter future in space and on earth. I hope that now is the time that we begin doing so, spurred on by this spectacle that is in the sky. The Great Conjunction is a close approach between Jupiter and Saturn. There is a Great Conjunction every 20 years, but this one is really special. It is the closest visible approach between Jupiter and Saturn in nearly 800 years, when Jupiter and Saturn are very close to each other in the sky from our perspective. I strongly encourage all my viewers to head outside in the evening from around 5 p.m. to 7:30 and to look towards the southwest. If there you'll see the two planets a short distance above the horizon. Make sure you have a clear view of the horizon without tall buildings or trees or mountains that block the view of the planet. And I want you to watch the planets while you can. The conjunction will last for several more days. The two planets are slowly moving away from each other. So while they're close by, I want you to take a look at them, and if you have access to telescopes or binoculars, use them. You'll be able to see both Jupiter and Saturn in the same frame. You can see their moons. You can see Jupiter's 4 largest moons, the Galilean moons, and you can see perhaps Saturn's largest moon, Titan, and you can also see Jupiter's cloud bands and Saturn's rings. And I hope that it inspires you. Studying space helps us to study science a lot. I mean, back in the late 17th century, scientists were able to figure out the speed of light by observing the transit of Jupiter's moons, and they were able to figure out the laws of motion by analyzing the way that the planets moved around the solar system. So as you look at Jupiter and Saturn tonight or the next night, the nights ahead, and you see them through the telescope, and if you see their moons, you can remember that how the people before you, back in those centuries back, were able to make such great insights from what you're seeing right now. And I hope you get motivated to get on towards a path of making advancements yourself, to move towards curiosity about space and about the way the universe works, and to start working to further scientific inquiry and innovation, and to create a path for yourself and for your nation that will ensure for all of us a brighter future. Thank you.